verse. Sorry if I'm not as energetic right now. I am exhausted. I just got back from Los Angeles, believe it or not. And I actually came back from a premiere. I'll share that with y'all. It was really awesome. Great experience. Met a lot of wonderful, talented people, you know. I literally drove over there. It took me 5 to 6 hours to drive over there yesterday. And I was doing the premiere right after. So as soon as I got there, went to a friend's house, showered like within like an hour, got ready and everything. Then from there, I went straight to the premiere. Came back, celebrated a little bit, and then in the morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, drove 5 hours to get over here back home, and then as soon as I got back, I got to recuperate for like about an hour and a half. I was so tired, I was exhausted, and then I ran into my buddy who picked me up, and then we went to the movie theater because I had already reserved tickets for Spider-Man Brand New Day. That was me for the last, I want to say 36 hours probably. I'm exhausted, verse. I'm so tired, and I gotta do this review. Oh my gosh. There is a lot to talk about here, so if I'm a little here and there and I look like crap, yeah, I'm tired. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I will definitely say, verse, this is a film I highly recommend you go watch. I think that this is enjoyable. I'm gonna say for sure that this Spider-Man movie is by far the most Spider-Man-ish personality that I've ever seen in any of the Spider-Man films, if I'm being honest with you. I know that a lot of people really liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, despite the fact that there were problems with those two films, but it was his personality that people really liked about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, because it was more towards to the character than, let's say, Tobey Maguire, even though I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And then here with Tom Holland, I'll be honest with you, I've been kind of iffy about Tom Holland, especially because this version of Tom Holland started off kind of, it was a little too childish for me, I'll say that, you know. I did not like Homecoming when it came out. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I just did not like the Spider-Man character because they brought him in so young. He was asking so many questions. Like, this Spider-Man was too impatient, you know, like when he got stuck inside that warehouse and he was like, how long has it been, when he's talking to the suit and the suit was like 26 or 36 minutes. He's like, 26 minutes? I just did not like that Spider-Man. He got on my nerves. And then when he got older and older, I started to get more closer to Tom Holland's Spider-Man because he was maturing. And I like the adult, mature Spider-Man character, and I feel like we don't get that character as much anymore. Now to talk about the film itself. This movie was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. Sorry, long name, so I had to look him up. This is the same director that actually did Shang-Chi. I thought Shang-Chi was fine. I didn't think it was a bad movie or nothing like that, but I kind of expected more from that film, if I'm being honest with you. And I guess here for Spider-Man, he ended up coming in and directing the new trilogy. For all I know, perhaps the new trilogy of Spider-Man that we're getting right now, because he directed this film. And I thought he did a fine job with it. I'm gonna get more into that later. Starting with the positives and then going to the negatives. So let me keep it positive. Sorry, like I said, I'm out of it. So the positive. I think that it was a good idea for Marvel to go in with this new trilogy of Spider-Man with a different director, because that way you get a different feel of the character with a new director, meaning a new vision. And I think that it was a good idea, and I think it worked also. I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. It's kind of funny to say that too, because when you see Tom Holland in anything else, a lot of people that I know especially are always like, oh my gosh, Tom Holland in this or in that. He's in the Odyssey. I'm so sick and tired of seeing Tom Holland. But then when you see him as Peter Parker, you're like, I like Tom Holland. You know, you can't help but to enjoy Tom Holland because he does such a good job as Peter Parker. You know, you watch him mature for his trilogy and then all these other Avenger films that he's been a part of, helping out with, whatever. And I think that in this film, this is by far his best movie as the character. When it comes down to Jon Bernthal as the Punisher, I thought he was awesome. Have I seen the shows? I have not. I've only seen Punisher in Daredevil. I haven't seen him in his own show. I haven't seen that special that was rated R or anything like that. I just didn't come across it. I wanted to, but then I lost interest in Marvel because just how Phase 4 and 5 are going, I was just like, whatever. I just had no interest to want to finish it or watch it, so I just never came across it. But here in the movie, I like him as Punisher. I think he does such a great job as a character. I would like to meet that guy someday here, or if by any chance even being able to work with him. I think he's such a great actor. And the chemistry between him and Tom Holland as Punisher and Spider-Man, I thought was phenomenal. They have such good chemistry, and it shows. Even in the trailer when you watched it, it really showed. And I'm glad about that. A lot more to be said there though, but for the spoiler discussion, about being honest with you, not for here. Zendaya as MJ and Ned being here also, I like them here actually. This is by far the best iteration of those characters that I actually liked here. A lot of these characters really grew up and are very different than how they were before, after the whole memory wipe or whatever. And I actually think that that was a good refresher for the character. There were some things here where I was like, wow, I did not expect that. Can't say any more than that, you know, it's more for the spoiler discussion. When it comes down to the villains, of Spider-Man. I will say, this movie definitely gives you a bit of a time gap where it kind of just throws things at you to just show like, oh, like it's been a few years. Well, this is what Spider-Man's been up to. So it kind of does that. And it does it in a way where I actually didn't think it was too bad, but it got to a point where I would say I wish I had just a little bit more, because they brought in some characters that I thought were interesting. And it's not really a spoiler because they even showed it in the trailer. You know how they show all these other characters here. I can't say it right now because I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just say that. When it comes down to the pacing of the film, I thought the pacing was fine for the first half. I'm going to say that. I think that you're going to go into this film enjoying it, and even as it gets towards the end of the film, there are scenes that are really enjoyable. When it comes down to the fight scenes of the movie, I'm going to say this is by far some of the best choreographed fights from a Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. I'm going to say there were some scenes here where I was like, wow. That's crazy. That was great. Especially because I actually know a lot of stunt guys now, and I see the work. I've done my own stunt reel before where it takes such a long time to do these fight scenes, especially under certain conditions. And I think that Tom Holland as Spider-Man doing all these stunts in multiple times of the film, other than the fact that it was creative, I thought was really impressive. Especially the scene where he goes head to head with the hand, or the red hand, whatever you call him. I really like the iteration of Tom Holland having to deal with the fact that he can't be around MJ or Ned anymore because of the whole memory wipes. They're showing him tolerating that. I really like that. A lot of good characterization for Spider-Man. And what I liked about this film, and I have to give it credit, is that when you see Peter Parker on screen, you are watching Peter Parker. When you watch Spider-Man on screen, you are legitimately watching Spider-Man. And I love that. I really, really love that, because what I like about some of these films and what I don't at the exact same time is that if you bring in a character that has a mask on, right, and you know they need the mask for that to be the character, please, even though I know that, you know, there's star power and that films like to show off the actor depending on the actor because they want people to come see this, you gotta remember, it's not entirely just the performance, it's the character that they're playing, especially if it's based off a superhero or a graphic novel of some kind. For Spider-Man, I noticed that with Tom Holland's trilogy, there's been a lot of times where he's just always had that mask off, if I'm being honest with you. And here, there's a lot of scenes where he has it on, and he's talking as Spider-Man. You just see Spider-Man. If Spider-Man gets angry, if he's sad, if he's just kind of thinking, you see him with the mask on. And I really, really did enjoy that. I thought that was a really great creative decision that they done with the film. I highly praise the film for that. I think that it was really cool that they decided to do that, because I was just like, I'm always seeing Peter Parker, but like, where is Spider-Man? Like, can I just get this Spider-Man with the mask and him talking and doing all this stuff? And you do get that. The villain of the film, I will say, it's at first it's interesting. I'm trying to keep it positive, but I have to be honest, it does disappoint for me. I'll say that. There are some twists in the film that you're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. It's one of those. I'm trying to stick to positives here. Any more positives? I mean, everybody did a great job as their characters. I didn't see any bad performances at all. I will say this. I think that Spider-Man is gonna get much more creative if they make the next two films, because clearly this is gonna be another trilogy. I heard that at some point Tom Holland is even getting kind of tired of playing the character. You know, it's just going on for way too long. And I can tell he's getting kind of tired too of being typecasted as, oh, everybody just sees me as Tom Holland. I completely understand that. So at some point, I know he's going to get tired of playing the character. So I will say, I think it's great that they're bringing in a lot of iterations for Spider-Man here before they get ready to, at some point, maybe let him go. Okay, here's one other positive. There are side characters in the film that are cool to see. I mean, they are utilized in the film. Okay, time for the negatives. Let's go into the negatives. This film has a huge pacing problem when it comes down to the middle of the film, because I will say this, the movie does this when it's starting, it starts off strong and then it goes downhill. It really goes downhill for me. At one point in the middle of the movie, I legitimately thought it was over, and I was like, okay, all right, I like the way how that went down. Like, that was a really cool scene right there. You know, I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want to spoil it, but then after this scene happens, it just kept going. And it kept going to the point where I was like, wait, what? I thought that was it. I mean, the way how it went down, it looked like that was the finale. But no, it actually kept going for like a whole, like maybe hour, because the film is about 2 hours and 25 minutes. So this is a pretty long Spider-Man film. At one point, after that mark where it kind of keeps going, it actually came across as a whole different Spider-Man film. It's almost like they came up with one concept, and then midway they're like, you know what, we don't really have much to go on here. Maybe we should kind of have this other idea we have and just kind of put one and one together to make two, and then you kind of have a film there. We'll just try to figure some things out. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. I heard that originally when the script of Brand New Day came out, Tom Holland read it, he did not like it. And when he did not like it, he literally requested some rewrites, and he even took part of it because he was like, no, this is not good. He was like, this needs to be rewritten because we need another draft. There's problems here. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the shift in tone is where we had the rewrite. This is what I'm thinking. Either they rewrote the first half of the film and that first version was the second half, or they rewrote the second half and the first version was exactly what it was supposed to be. And I don't know what's what, but me personally, I'm gonna say it was maybe the second half that was the original vision, because I did not like it. I did not like it, other than some parts here and there that I thought was pretty creative and pretty cool. But the reveal, I will say that, of the villain, I did not like. I'm very, very disappointed. It's interesting, but it is kind of an odd choice to bring into a Spider-Man film. I'll say that. I did not see that coming. Even with the friend that I went with, who was going to join me in my spoiler discussion video, even had thoughts. I heard him in the theater too. He was like, I don't know about that. I really don't know. The side characters, again, they were utilized. They were there. They were helpful. They weren't useless at all. And I'm pretty sure you guys already know who they are, but I'm not going to say them here because I'm trying to keep it non-spoilery. But I will say, despite the fact that they were there and they were cool to see, I kind of wish they weren't there because, you know, now that Spider-Man is an adult, he's matured, he's coping with a lot of things, he's learning on how to do this and that. I would just like to see a Spider-Man film solely be a Spider-Man film. Why do I get the feeling that they're going to save that for the very last movie? I don't know why I get that feeling that they're going to do that. And most likely they're going to. I would like Spider-Man to stop having his hand held. You know, there have been comics before where Spider-Man actually comes in the middle of a dispute, whether it's the Avengers or the Defenders or the X-Men, and he's helping because he feels like it's the right thing to do, and he helped to the point where he ended up even impressing them, where they were like, hey, you want to join us? I'm like, can we get that Spider-Man from the comics, please, where he can like literally come across and make good judgment to the point where people are like, wow, I didn't think you could do that, but I underestimated you. We don't get that at all. Spider-Man always needs his hand held. I hate that with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. For God's sakes, give him his own movie already. Stop bringing in people every single time. It's like they feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't enough, so other than villains, let's bring in side characters that are from other shows or movies to amp it up quite a bit. And it's like, sure, it does, but if it's not really necessary, then don't do it. I really felt like Spider-Man could have been on his own for this one, so that does kind of take some things away from the film for me, even though I know some people are going to enjoy it. It's Spider-Man, which I understand, but for me personally, I just would like for him to be like Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, where he's just doing his own thing. And when it comes down to some of the characters, there are some decisions that were made in the film where I was like, okay, I guess you could say they're only doing that because they're building up to something. And then there were other things where I was like, that didn't feel necessary. I really felt like you didn't need to do that. So there's that. The music in the film, not really much of a soundtrack in this one, so I thought it was fine for whatever it was that they used. I would just definitely say this film is really dedicated on characterization, and I think it works here. And as well as fight scenes that I feel like make up for some of the problems in the film. I'm gonna also... No, I shouldn't talk about that. That's for the spoiler discussion. Okay, verse. Well, that's basically going to be it. I'm going to leave it at that because a lot more of what I want to say I can't say here for the non-spoiler review. So I'm going to get straight to the final verdict. My final verdict for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Take it easy. It's going to be a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is not bad. That is above average. Go see it. It's Spider-Man. You're gonna see it anyway. Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of things to definitely enjoy about this film, but I gotta be honest with you, it's mixed. There was somebody that walked out of the film that said something where I was like, what? Because my buddy told me about it, and I was like, no. We looked at each other like, that's not true. Yeah, you can tell these are kids. I was like, yeah, they enjoyed it because, you know, they're young and it's Spider-Man, but I was like, I did not agree with that opinion. And then also, just to end my video, I am going to have to talk about one little thing. I ended up going to this film excited because I was going with a friend of mine who is a huge Marvel fan. As you all know, I'm clearly a DC fan, but there are some things about Marvel that I do like. And going into the Spider-Man film, I was excited, especially because, you know, I have a Regal membership and I like to see my films as early as possible so I can give a review for you guys. I do truly enjoy talking about films for you guys and reviewing them. I think it's such an awesome thing to do, to talk about or whatever, you know, especially since I'm an actor and I go and I'm such a moviegoer too, so I can't help but to be honest and stuff like that. Regardless of how I feel about the film, my movie experience was sort of tarnished because of the crowd around me. And what I mean by that is that unfortunately, when trying to watch the film, I was sitting next to literally 2 different people that were doing 2 different things that really took me out of the film at times, which I felt kind of tarnished my experience going into the movie, and it got on my nerves so badly that I have to bring to my attention. When you go see a superhero film, especially Spider-Man, you know there are going to be a lot of kids that are going to go. And that's totally understandable. It's like when I went to go take my sister to see Five Nights at Freddy's, right? A shitload of kids. You know, a bunch of kids and even adults that love Five Nights at Freddy's, the franchise, and they're gonna go see it. And sure enough, I took my little sister. She went, she loved it. I did a review, never posted it. I will someday for her because she wants me to post it. I just never got around to it. Had a great time. Unfortunately, just like with that movie, there was kids in this film that kept continuously talking throughout the whole entire film, like if I was watching the movie with commentary, and it got on my nerve so badly. Like the kid literally on my left was like, oh, look, that's happening right now, and that's gonna be going on. Oh, I think this is gonna happen right now. When you see about that, and I was right here like, thank you. No, really, thank you. I'm glad I'm able to hear you talk about it than this film. Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear you talk, then watch the movie that I paid fucking $30 for, but no, please keep talking. No, please, when you go to a movie theater, by all means, commentate. People clearly want to hear your ass. Please, go ahead. During the film. Not after, not before, not even like a maybe small comment. No, you gotta just keep going because apparently you're the expert. And then on my right side, there was literally this like Indian dude that was right next to me, and the whole entire time, next to my buddy, he kept having his phone out, which is fine. Once in a while you're gonna check your phone for the time or something. But why is it that when it's pitch black in the theater so you can watch the film in its entirety, that this motherfucker had his screen on the whole time? He had his screen bright as fuck, and every single time when we were trying to watch the film, he would take out his phone. I could literally see it on the side of my eye constantly coming up here, and I kept turning, and I was like looking at this dude like, dude, lower the brightness of your fucking phone. Like, what is the problem? Like, legitimately, I'm so irritated and amazed. How is it that people pay so much money to go to the theater? Because let's be honest, theater tickets are expensive, especially if you go to AMC of all theaters. And yet, despite that, you go to the movie to talk through it? Or you go to the movie even just to be on your phone? If that's the case, then stay home and watch Netflix, Hulu, or whatever the fuck it is that you watch. Why are you going to a movie theater to talk through the whole entire thing? Nobody wants to go to a movie theater to hear your dumbass talk. Nobody wants to hear that. Why on earth is it that you want to do that is beyond me, because apparently I forgot you directed the film. Okay? I didn't realize you were Tom Holland to the point where you're telling me the whole play-by-play of the whole film. For goodness sakes, everybody, please, I have to be honest with you. Please be courteous to the people around you when you're going to the movie, because everybody wants to go to the movies to have such a wonderful experience. I think the movies is such an awesome place to go to when you want to watch a film, hear people react, especially since superhero films are such a huge thing now, you know. Everybody wants to cheer, everybody wants to do this and that, but nobody, in the end of the day, wants to hear you talk. Stop talking through the film, especially if it's the first freaking screening of the film. I'm watching this on a Thursday, by the way, not a Friday, on a Thursday, which is the earliest screening that I'm able to get to where I'm at currently. And literally, the fact that I got early screenings and I had to watch it with people that did not know how to shut the fuck up in the middle of a film annoyed the shit out of me. I even looked at my buddy and I was like, Mike, I gotta be honest with you, man, I'm getting so annoyed. And then a few times I kept going, shh. Like, I had to tell them to shut up because that's how loud they were. And they kept going. And then it wasn't until like the second half of the film, then they shut up. And then this other dude literally kept having his phone come up. And then when I walked by him, I got so irritated, I was like, next time you might want to lower the brightness of your phone. And then the dude just looked at me. And I walked. I didn't give a fuck. I walked. People literally need to be courteous. Otherwise, stay your ass home, man. Stay home. Sorry about that. I had to do that. I had to talk about it first because I was so agitated. I literally looked at Michael and I was like, I'm going to try to make sure that if I scored this film, I'm fair about it. I don't want to give this movie a bad film just because of my movie experience. Unfortunately for me, it was bad. I know people are excited about Spider-Man. Again, they're kids and stuff like that. I understand that, but kids are not. It's like, you guys got to be courteous, man. Like, you guys can't be talking throughout the whole film. The movie was 2 hours and 25 minutes. How do you talk through the whole time of that? How? Especially if you've never even seen it. Don't you want to watch it? But regardless, first, that's my score of the film. As you guys can see, I bought the popcorn bucket. You know, they had multiple ones, and I was thinking about getting all of them, but my buddy was like, no, you got this one. Stop. Fine. So I was tired anyway, so I was like, I'll get this. I got the Spider-Man cut. They come in a bundle, so I got these two, which was really cool. And yeah, that was me at the movie theater. I'm tired. So other than that, though, let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed it, and if you didn't, by all means, let me know. It's totally fine. And if you do enjoy the film, by the way, then that's great. I'm happy you enjoyed it. I just have problems with the story. I'm gonna be real with you. I felt like having this Spider-Man, I'm excited for, but I just feel like they could have done better. Other than that, though, if you like what you saw, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification for more content as always. Look forward to the next video, and with that said, I'll see you next time. Later, verse.